Okay, let's just settle into a nice, comfortable seated posture. And we are late, so I'll just try and align yourselves as best you can. Lengthen your spine and bring your awareness to your breath, noticing the sensation of the air as you're inhaling and exhaling. And then bring your attention to the crown of the head and just notice a little softening there. Relax the forehead and the eyes, the whole of your face, and then your body. Just release any tension. And at the same time, continue to lengthen. And then just very briefly bring to mind all the people of your life, the loved ones, the ones we don't like so much, and our strangers. And remember, they can all change place at any time as our karma changes, shift, relationships shift and change. And then remember, they're all equal. They have this wish to be happy and this wish to be free from suffering and having really extraordinary capacity for Buddhahood. So we start by thinking there is no negativity that can't be purified. So, we think about all the people that, as we motivate for this practice, we can think about all the people of our life and maybe all the sentient beings. Maybe there's a stranger you met today you might like to dedicate for. Doesn't always have to be someone we know. So my friend I passed, well, not actually a friend, I don't even know this person, but this super angry guy, we're all driving past through downtown Fairfax, and he's having an absolute hissy fit on the street. He was arguing with a couple of other guys. And the amount of anger that he had in his body was kind of scary. I mean, I wasn't threatened at all, but for him to be experiencing that. So anyway, so if maybe you saw an incident like that, or maybe you saw a person on the street. There's one guy that sits outside Good Earth, which is this kind of the local organic food place here. And, he just sits there and gives little pebbles away. And in exchange, people bring him coffee and croissant or something. And he's always very nicely shaved and showered, but he's still, giving away rocks on the sidewalk. So you think about people like that as well. So we think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is psychological. So we're creating negativity with our mind. So we can change that by creating positivity instead. So we start with the power of regret in these four opponent powers. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech. And then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. We cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we might experience. And we know from our present suffering, we don't want any more. So logically, it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So we think like this. We regret from the depths of our hearts, having harmed others with our body and speech, having broken our vows, because we do not want the future suffering. We're sick of suffering. and also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others, and then think, I'm sick of this suffering, and then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. And it's not that we're needing Buddha to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. And he has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right, and the left is holding a bell representing wisdom. And the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents the union of these two. And this symbolizes enlightenment, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. And whoever has the image of Vajrasattva, would you mind putting it up? Please. Okay. So then we go, little refuge prayer. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result in suffering for them in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and then think, I must purify for their sake. So now we have the power of the remedy, and this is the actual medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita dita meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dita meboa, sutokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me, sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya, Vajrasattva dina patita, Dita meboa, sutokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dita meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mempi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tatagata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a humpe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you have ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And next is the purification of our speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire body. Except this time it forces up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about others behind their backs. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as we recite the mantra again. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shiyam Kuru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So feel completely happy that now your speech is completely, totally purified. And then imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others now with your speech, and that includes you yourself. And the purification of the mind next. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's the same as when you walk into a pitch black room, you flick on the switch. The light that comes completely dispels the darkness. So you just imagine as the moment the light hits your heart chakra, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, so all the attachment and neediness and anger and depression, resentment, anxiety, jealousy, and bitterness, all of this is instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Tita meboa, Sutokaya meboa, Supokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpiata sawa kama sita me, Sitam shiyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan, Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata aham pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Tita meboa, Sutokaya meboa, Supokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa, Sawasidi mimpiata sawa kama sita me, Sitam Shiyam Karuhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyatsa Sawa Kama Sitam Me Sitam Shiyam Karuhum Ha Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata Aham Pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dita meboa Sutokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sitam me Sitam shiyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dita meboa Sutokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sitam me Sitam shiyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dita meboa Sutokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sitam me Sitam shiyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dita meboa Sutokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sitam me Sitam shiyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata aham pe. So again, be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think now there is no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And just imagine this time Vajrasattva sending light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy as we recite the mantra. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dita meboa Sutokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sitam me Sitam shiyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dita meboa Sutokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sitam me Sitam shiyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dita meboa Sutokaya meboa Sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa Sawasidi mimpiyatsa sawa kama sitam me Sitam shiyam kuruhum ha ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sata aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dina patita Dita Meboa, Sitokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiata Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriam Guru Hom Ha Ho Bhagawan, Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hom Pe, and Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya, Vajrasafa Dina Patita, Dita Meboa, Sitokaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpiata Sawa Kama Sita Me, Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hom Pe and Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Kuru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hom Pe and Vajrasafa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasafa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawatata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Satra A Hum Pe. So now feel you are completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve. And this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. So take a moment just to rejoice in your efforts and coming here night after night. I mean, it's amazing. And particularly for those of you in different time zones, like, Australia, wherever. Sometimes Anna from London turns up. And then particularly those people on the East Coast. It's kind of late now. It's like 11:30. So I really appreciate your effort in staying up to do the practice. It's wonderful. So then we sort of have to have a determination to refrain from harming if anything is going to happen, if any change is going to happen. Because we have these habit energies, we have a tendency to just kind of like blurt things out or take action. Sometimes you're like, oh, I don't know why I did that. It was just karmic habit. So if we want to put a stop to these, what we believe are kind of actions that we didn't necessarily mean to do or mean to say, we have to sort of really make a decision that we don't want to harm. And then slowly, those kind of habits will, deteriorate. Maybe atrophy is a better word. So think of something you've been working on recently that you would like to work on, and just think I'll put maybe a couple of minutes aside, maybe while I'm just cleaning my teeth, and contemplate, make a wish. Okay, I'm going to work on my speech today. Or today I'm going to work on my internal dialogue, my, negative self-talk. So this determination to refrain from harming is what gives us strength to change. So imagine Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And you think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So let's just, to conclude, Vajrasattva's delighted and he wants to merge with your mind. And so then we meditate a little bit on emptiness. So really try and get a sense of what that might be, this merging with the mind. Vajrasattva, the energy of this Vajrasattva, this your teacher, this kind of like, I don't know, it's like holy, otherworldly very beautiful energies just merging with you in your heart. So it's almost like you absorb this beautiful energy, this healing, purifying energy. So then Rinpoche would talk about meditating on emptiness. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. We can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice this evening ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And then for His Holiness the Dalai Lama, I have a very strong wish for His Holiness to live long, to be able to continue to teach. And then for the swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche's unmistaken reincarnation. And then, of course, our own very precious teachers who just working away so hard there on their own practice and their own, how to get the message across kind of thing, how to make the teachings clear and accessible. So people putting a lot of effort into that. So, and a lot of these, these geshis that come and they don't really speak English, so they're having to learn to speak English and find ways to communicate. So there's effort. They're putting in effort to help us. So make a strong wish for them to live long and stay around and be interested in teaching. Okay. Lots of love, everybody. Good night. So happy to see you all. Do take care, and I will see you tomorrow. Okay. Thank you so much.